Hey Trucked Up guys and gals, one of the biggest comments I get since I launched this channel is how so many of you are waiting for a compact EV truck and how it seems to make no sense at all as to why Legacy Auto isn't filling this obvious high demand segment. One reason might seem obvious, but others might surprise you. Let's waste no time and get totally trucked up. Are you like me and really love compact trucks? I had this old 2007 Ranger. Had like 400,000 kilometers on it. I freaking loved it. I had it for years and I used that thing for everything. It was great for work. In fact, you can still see that very truck in its new life on Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft. I'll put a link to his huge YouTube channel below. He bought it from me and he fixed it up and he's made it famous on his amazing channel and it's still going strong. If you have a favorite compact truck or a picture of what your perfect EV compact truck would look like, please let me know in the comments below. There's a lot of debate over what constitutes a compact truck. Some even make the case that, for example, the Rivian R1T fits the bill already. Well, bill might be the appropriate word based on its frickin' sticker price, but most folk have said they're looking for an EV alternative to trucks like the Maverick, the old Ranger before it went mid-sized, the Chevy S10, or others that came out of Japan and Europe back in the 80s and 90s. If we look at compact trucks in 2025, we're talking about the Ford Maverick, Honda Ridgeline, Hyundai Santa Cruz, Toyota Tacoma, Chevy Colorado, Ford Ranger, and Nissan Frontier. That's kind of the scope there of the compact truck market. Some of those I would say are mid-size, but we'll call those the compact truck market we're looking at. Some would go so far as to claim that the Jeep Gladiator is in that mix. But this gives us a good snapshot of what we're comparing to and why Legacy Auto is deliberately ignoring that market with EVs. First, there's the obvious. Look at that Rivian R1T. See the problem already? Sure, it has a smaller and narrower bed than a full-size pickup, but it's actually bigger than the current Tacoma and Ranger. It has far more robust towing specs, definitely in the realm of the light-duty full-size pickup truck, 11,000 pounds towing capacity maximum, and it outdoes most of those ICE compact truck lists that we mentioned earlier in payload at 1,764 pounds, despite that smaller bed. This is certainly mid-sized, but it offers us a clue as to why we have no compact EV truck competitor that's down one size. Well, price jumps out and bitch slaps us, kicks us in the nuts, and leaves us making squeaky noises rolling around on the ground before we even get a chance to kick the frickin' tires. Come on, even though Rivian made huge strides in lowering production costs, and they say they've also lowered the costs a little to the consumer, sure. They did things like they got rid of the nickel cobalt batteries for the less dense but much more reliable iron phosphate packs. But despite that, it still costs at least 50% more than even the most premium trims of the compact trucks available in 2025. Also, the average compact gas truck gets between 300 and 400 miles, so somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 700 kilometers on a single tank. Rivian, the R1T, can actually match that range, but only with the largest max battery pack option. And in Canada, that puts you above $120,000 and over $100,000 in the United States. In other words, if an OEM were to build a compact EV truck and make it affordable, the biggest cost remains the batteries. And that's where the biggest cuts would have to happen and still allow the OEM to make any semblance of a profit. To reduce that cost and still have any hope of range means significantly reducing weight and drag and complexity, bringing it down to a point with all other areas of development to drive up efficiency and offset the smaller battery capacity. That's not simple math. That's a huge investment. North Americans would have to ask themselves, would I buy a compact EV truck with only 200 miles of range, half that of a compact gas truck? Unfortunately, the answer is a resounding no frickin' way from almost all research done in this area, with range cited as the #1 reason why North Americans won't buy an EV. And the OEMs know this. But that's not the end of the story that's stopping these things from reaching market. It's not just battery price. There's two dirty little secrets that auto manufacturers are betting you won't notice. And these are more likely killing any hope of a mass-produced compact EV truck. And you and I are actually partly to blame. But before I start pointing fingers and piss off all my trucked up folk, I hope at this time, first, you'll consider a small form of support for the channel by clicking the Patreon Flat Tire and Coffee Fund link in the description, or the thanks button somewhere around here below. Or just click the like, subscribe, and bell notification icon to keep this channel growing. We're just shy of 4,000 subscribers. This community is getting bigger and more engaged all the time, and I want to thank you so much for that. But back to those dirty little secrets. In fact, the first one has to do more with what Legacy Auto can scare you into buying instead of what you want to buy. Something that they make far more money on with little to no risk. Think about it. How much money would the big three have to invest in design, engineering, retooling, and production to bring you a compact EV truck when they can just scare you out of one and have you feel very good to buy a happy medium hybrid? Remember back in the 1980s and 1990s? Oh, shit, right. Yeah, okay. A lot of you probably weren't born then. Anyway, back in the day, we were told that natural gas was the best stepping stone to breaking our dependence on oil and heating oil, only to learn that it made more money for the oil and gas giants and actually postponed breaking our dependence altogether. Well, that's this, or this is that, kind of. Hybrids are not stepping stones. They're riskier, more costly for consumers, both in maintenance and then later repairs, and make the automakers massive profits. In many cases, even more than the pure gas divisions. But the strategy has worked. Hybrid sales are going through the roof, and profits are up for all the big hybrid players like Ford and Toyota. There's a lot more to this story than we're going to cover here. But they don't have your truck preferences, your financial well-being, or the environment in mind when selling these, let me assure you. If you'd like me to do a video exclusively on why hybrid trucks are a bad idea, let me know in the comments below, and I'll get to work on it. The second dirty little secret is that a compact EV truck would undermine their entire internal combustion truck sales in the larger segment. Remember, other than a few exceptions, compact trucks are not the big money makers for auto companies. In fact, most of them lose money. They're more what the industry considers a gateway drug to heavy-duty diesel trucks in your driveway. All the big money is in big trucks, with the exception of the hybrid full-size pickup and compact hybrid trucks like the Maverick that is making buckets of cash hand over fist. I imagine Legacy Auto CEOs have nightmares. They finish their shift, they go home, they have a couple of martinis, and they break out in cold sweats with horrible dreams about you buying a highly efficient, cost-effective, incredibly functional, long-lasting, compact EV truck. It is the worst possible scenario for their balance sheet, and they'll avoid it like the plague via lobbying government to introduce protectionist measures to keep such vehicles out of your grasp and to curb technological advances that won't make them short-term profits. And that's exactly what seems to be going on. The good news for all of us is that historically, such protectionist measures never work. Eventually, Maybe due to these frickin' unjustified and insanely stupid tariff threats we're currently being flogged with, Canada, Mexico, and Europe might just lift such restrictions and let the Chinese floodgates open. If that happens, like Japan in the 1970s, Legacy Auto will have no choice but to do a complete about-face or get trampled under the Asian compact EV truck stampede that has already found ways to make money off of a small EV truck. But there are always casualties. If you haven't already checked it out, there's 5 EV trucks that have already headed to the graveyard of history's flops, and one of them was a compact. You can watch that video right here. As always, thanks for watching.